بكم في Chunking 101. Hello everybody and welcome back to Chunking 101. The song that we are going to work with today is Alem Allah by Amr Diab. So the name of this song is Only God Knows. That's literally the name. I'm not saying that only God knows the name of. Keep in mind that the singer of this song is Egyptian, so there's some words that we will find that are typical from that area and are not used in other countries, or expressions, as well as a lack of sound of the letter qaf. Okay, you will find it in words such as قلبي. He will say it as Albi. This is not modern standard Arabic, that's for sure, but out of all the accents and dialects out there in the Arab world, I dare to say that Egyptian is one of the easiest or most understandable ones by other Arabs. So if you're considering which accent to focus on, I would say the Egyptian one is good. As always, you can find the lyrics and the translation of the song in the description. العالم Allah الدي. This sentence should actually be followed by the next one, but because of time length, I cannot go over 5 seconds because of copyright. So, العالم Allah الدي. Only God knows how much. Alem is knowledge, okay? So, العالم Allah. Basically the knowledge of God, but in this case it's working like only God knows. الدي here is working as how much, but this is an Egyptian way of saying it. First, you can see that the qaf is not being pronounced, and then is a word used in Egypt which means what, or in this case, how much, for how. Albi wrohy ذابوا feeh. Albi wrohy ذابوا feeh. So as I said before, this sentence is actually following the previous one, because before he says only Allah knows how much, and here he says my heart and my soul melted for him. As I mentioned in other videos, you know that in Arabic songs sometimes they use the male pronoun to talk about love or like who they're singing for, but most of times it's because they just want it to make it fit in the song, but not necessarily because they are singing to another man. Albi, my heart, that you can also pronounce قلبي, قلبي, my heart, and my soul, وروحي, the same thing, ruh, soul, roohy, my soul, ذابوا, melted, feeh, for him. If he wanted to say for her, he will say feeh, but maybe it doesn't sound just as good, so he says ذابوا feeh. اللي عيونه ذوبوني والله. This is the one whose eyes made me melt. So here I just want to highlight how in this case he's using the verb melt as something is making him melt. Previously he says ذابوا feeh, saying that his heart and his soul melted on him, right? So past tense of the verb melt. And here he's saying dawabuni, which is something is causing him to melt. How do you realize it? Because you have the ni ending, which means that something external is making him do this action of melting. Grammar-wise, something to highlight in this sentence is the changes they make, because this is Egyptian dialect. So at the beginning of the sentence he said the elly, which is elly, it's also used in Morocco according to Hamza, so it's not only in Egypt, but still it's not like the standard way. So the actually comes from hada, this, okay? Hada, this. They go from hada to the, okay? And then elly, sorry, actually comes from الذي, which means the one who, okay? So elly, الذي. Bely, biyah, يعلم Allah. What's in me or what's inside me, only Allah knows. Careful not to confuse the word Bely with Bely, because they are two different things. Bely means my mind, And Bely, like here, is what is. And then again, يعلم Allah, only God knows. Wallah wdubti feek. I swear I am melting for you. Wallah wdubti feek. Again, we have the verb melting, and I'm sorry I didn't clarify it before, but melting means like I'm falling for you, okay? I don't know if it's so used in English the same way, but it's like, Wallah, I'm falling for you, I am melting for you. So in this case, the difference is that he's saying, I am melting for you. أنا ذوبتي feek. He could also say, أنا ذوبتي, I am melting, but he's expressing for whom? Feek. وخذتني بحور عينيك. And she took me with your hoory eyes. So, two things to talk about in this sentence. You know how previously we mentioned that it sounded like he was talking to a man because he was using the he ending. Now, because of the verb, we can tell that he's actually singing to a woman. And here the singer is saying خذتني. And we know he's talking about a woman because otherwise he will use the male version, which is خذني. This is Egyptian accent, otherwise in standard Arabic it will be أخذني. And now the second thing about this sentence is, what does huri mean? So basically he's talking about huri eyes. Hura العين is a kind of like color of eyes for women when they have such a strong contrast between black and white. Huri eyes are those where the black part of the eye is so black and then the white part is so white, and therefore the contrast is like boom. And this is where the name Haura actually comes from. سلمتي قلبي ليك. I surrendered, I gave my heart to you. سلمتي قلبي. So سلمتي is like I gave, but it's also like I surrender. Then we have Albi again, that will be قلبي in standard Arabic, and ليك. ليك is to you. من غير زي واللي, without a how and a why. This sentence couldn't be more Egyptian really because it's literally using Egyptian words and expressions. من غير in Egypt means without. If you were going to say it in standard Arabic, you will say بدون. Izay means how in Egyptian, and then li means why in Egyptian. So if you actually wanted to say this sentence in standard Arabic, you will say بدون كيف ولماذا. هو الحب إيه. هو الحب إيه. Here the singer is asking, what is love? But the way he's saying it, he's actually like playing around with the order of the words in the sentence. So he's saying huwa, he, الحب, the love, إيه, what? If you wanted to transform this sentence into like an understandable Arabic for us non-natives, you will say ما هو الحب, what is the love? Again, you have the word إيه at the end, which means what in Egyptian dialect. غير نظرة من عينيه, غير لمسة من إيديه. Just a look from his eyes, or nothing but a look from his eyes, and then the same, just a touch from his hands, or nothing but a touch of his hands. So here you can see غير working as nothing but or just. غير, it's something that it's still quite hard for me to understand depending on the context because it can mean different things. But at least in here, it's working as nothing but. And here we have again a male ending of the word عينيه. He's not saying عينيها, okay? But as always, it doesn't mean that he's singing to a man. Like we saw clearly that he's singing to a woman. And the same thing with إيديه. It's his hands and not her hands. غير قلب تخاف عليه. Nothing but or just a heart to take care of. So that's how we will translate it in English to make sense, but the verb he's actually using, تخاف, it literally means like to fear for, or to actually like to be scared for, meaning like you fear for it, for something bad to happen to it, so you want to take care of it, okay? So I translated it, we translated it this way for it to make sense in Arabic, because it's not like you're gonna fear for it, like, oh, if you say I fear for Hamza, it's like he's doing something wrong and I fear that he's gonna get in trouble. But in this context, it's like you fear for that heart because you want to take care of it, okay? That's it for this song. You will hear that these sentences are repeating along the song, so I'm not gonna go over them more than once. I hope you took note of it. I hope you learned something new, and next time when you listen to the song, you'll be able to sing it and you will actually know what they're talking about. As always, if you think I forgot anything important in terms of vocabulary or grammar, or even if I said something that is not correct, because I am not specializing in like Egyptian dialect, please let me know. See you in the next video, inshallah.